We can't wait for love to figure out how to find us among a million hearts standing in the crowd. Life gets so easily lost when you're looking for the answers. Who knows where the world goes 1,000 years from now?
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Sunshine Spotlight. Today I am very happy to have a guest from Chicago, Illinois. Guitarist, lead singer, and songwriter for the band Fort Francis, my friend and yours, David McMillin. David, how are you, man?
James, I'm good, man. Thanks so much for having me. It's nice to be here, and here being on the internet with you.
Yeah. Or as Keith Richards like to say, it's nice to be anywhere. Especially with all of this going on. Now, I got to ask you right off the bat, all black dark humor aside, you had COVID. And you and I spoke about it very early on, and it was a tough road for you. So you're the first guest we've had. We've had so many. I mean, I started this because we were musicians and artists trying to deal with the pandemic. You really had to deal with the pandemic. First of all, how you doing? Tell the fans, and also how was that experience?
I'm great, man, and thank you for your thoughtful concern. Yeah, I mean, I would say. Super lucky. Loads of people have been very much less fortunate. I got it right around the time that it was really at the peak here in Chicago. I think that the stat was something insane, like 1 in every 10 Chicagoans had COVID, or 1 in 15. So it was like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. So my wife and I both got it. We still honestly aren't entirely sure where we got it. We've been super careful. It was pretty brutal. I will say it was definitely the longest I've ever been sick. Full 2 weeks. We each had different symptoms, but again, we're healthy and all good. But yeah, it was definitely, so no one else on here has had it, huh?
Not yet.
That's wild.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't wish it upon anyone. A lot of people are like, oh, you must feel lucky, you got it out of the way. I don't really, I mean, in terms of there are variants and who knows how,
sure.
I would wish everyone the vaccine not to have to deal with getting it to feel good.
Right. And let it be a warning to everybody out there. Really, you're a good test case for this. You're young, healthy, and it could happen. And you were careful, so it can happen to any of us. But it's good to see that you're back and well, and writing and recording. You guys have a new record coming out called U-Turn. We're going to play a song. I'm very excited about this. We have an exclusive acoustic performance just for us today, which is also a first on this show. How has that been writing? Has the fact that you had COVID or the fact that you've been going through this pandemic, I've asked a lot of artists this, affected your writing? Did it inform your writing?
Yeah. First, I like the title U-Turn, although that's not the title, but maybe you'll name the record.
What is it?
No, I don't know what it is yet. But I like the thought of calling it that.
Oh, wow. I have U-Turn written down here. I guess that was just weird, kind of, I don't know.
We're on the same wavelength. I think I did mention there's a kind of funny thing in writing the pandemic. I've written a ton, and it's kind of weird. I look at it in different phases. I think when everybody talks about the pandemic, you also have to tie it in with everything that also happened over the last year, a racial awakening in the country, an election. And I would say that prior to the end of last year, when the world felt really crazy and in my perspective, it was starting to kind of feel very hopeless. I would say my writing wasn't the most overwhelmingly positive. I was writing a decent amount, but not, I don't know, not really in the headspace that I'd be psyched to go, I guess, see a show with the band playing. It's pretty somber stuff. And it is kind of funny. And I think this is where your U-turn, we chatted, and I think I've shifted. I've turned like a 180. I mean, really since December, and it's March now, I've been writing feverishly, and I'd say they're the most optimistic songs I've ever written. So I'm really, really pleased with where everything's headed. I'd say we're about halfway done recording and writing. I I think I've written like somewhere in the 20 to 30 song range, and I'm just trying to whittle it down to see what fits in a cohesive, in a body of work. But this is, this has been terrible on a lot of fronts for so many people. Creatively for me, this time has been actually really, really good. And I think I've been able to reflect on a lot of things that matter. And music is certainly, it's at the top of the things that matter to me. So I think it's been a good way for me to kind of recharge.
When I think of Fort Francis, I think of you guys playing one thing you're not the first of is the first alumnus to play the festival. You guys were so joyful to be in New York City, so joyful to be part of that great community, and you really kicked it. And when I remember being right in front on stage and you guys playing, it was almost like a gospel revival. It's a great throwback rock and roll kind of thing. And, it's hard for me to think that you were such in that place, that you weren't writing songs that fit that milieu, because that's where you guys, when I think of you guys, I think of that.
That means a lot. And that's, I hope other people think of us in that sort of, would you say a gospel revival?
Yeah. Like a revival, like a great, the way Springsteen gets people going, or a great rock and roll band back in the halcyon days of the Forum, where it's very communal.
Yeah. That's at the heart of it. That's what music is. It's communal. That's obviously we're all right now. I've been listening. In addition to writing, I've been listening to loads of music, and in where we are now, I know you can watch live streams, what have you. But it's very, like right now, it's weird. It is not communal. Even if you're in part of like an Instagram community that's watching something, or Facebook or Twitch or whatever, it's one person, not sharing. We're not sharing as much. And that's to me, I was thinking a lot about it before we started chatting. That Underwater Sunshine that you're referencing, which I think would have been, was that in 2019 or 2018? The funny thing is that time doesn't even matter.
Right.
It's just that the moment matters.
It's blur.
And that to me is where every band can shine, in that atmosphere where everyone is part of the moment and we're all together, and I'm not saying anything that anybody probably isn't feeling right now. Everybody misses being together, but I think there's a difference between being together in the sense of like going to a restaurant or going to a movie theater, and they're like being at a show, whether I'm watching it or I'm playing it, is a different kind of togetherness. It's, a lot of people talk about getting back to normal, whatever that means, I can't wait till life feels normal again. I thought about this a lot. Like, the best moments of music never feel normal. They feel magical. They feel like just transcendent, like nothing about, and I think about that, the most recent Underwater Sunshine Fest, there's one thing in particular. I think we were playing the song Plastic Hearts, and I think that I maybe sang directly into someone's face while they took a picture with a phone, or I was in the crowd or something. Right now, anyone would have they'd have the right to be very, very upset with me. But I think about those are those moments that they're not normal at all. They're magic.
Right. And you and I talked about this prior to getting together to do the show. And you had an interesting take, because as a performer, you're up on stage, you're not sure you can do the same performance if you're looking at an entire audience with masks on and they can't smile, they can't sing along to the lyrics, they can't do anything. And that's difficult for you in a way. So, I think I'm going to quote you, but please expound on it. You said that you would just rather go back when everybody can enjoy it the way you just described it.
I think I would. And I say that with the caveat that I also understand the serious pain that venues, that so many of my closest friends who either run venues or book venues or they play, everyone's feeling. But yeah, I don't think, I think it was, I know this will run in a week or so, but I think New York just is approving maybe 33% venue capacity and the owner of the Mercury Lounge and Bowery Ballroom, just that wouldn't work for them.
Yeah, right.
And partially that's an economic thing, and I think that is true. It's for the small clubs that we love to play, when we play small clubs, but we want it to feel like it's like Madison Square Garden. It's not even about the money. It's about the energy, and so, yeah, it doesn't work economically if, hey, there's only, 40 people in a room that seats 200. But the energy is what the really, for me, would be, it's just so hard to establish that sense. I think in the kind of like everybody keeps 6 feet away and the masks in a music venue, it's crazy. I mean, we've gone a year and I own like 15 face masks, and it's my go-to thing that I wear when I, like in Chicago, everyone, you pretty much wear them when you're walking outside too. And they're, they are healthy because they are not going to let something bad be contagious.
Right.
But in music, energy is contagious. There are good things that are contagious. And if I can't see you smile or look disinterested and know that our show isn't going the way it needs to be, I don't know I'm not sure how I would be able to, how that would work as a performer.
All right, so we're going to play a clip here again. Thank you so much for doing this. We always play a music clip here, whether it's a canned music video, which we love, or a live thing, or something from a previous performance. But this is just you and a piano, and a brand new song called Fits and Starts. And if you haven't seen the video, the Fort Francis video for this, the animated one, it's fantastic. Check it out on YouTube. But I really appreciate you doing this, and this is a one-off, really. I just watched it a little while ago. I'll talk to you about it on the other side. But is this part of the songwriting that was your introspective sort of darker side, or this is when you got through and you did your U-turn?
I would say this is pretty much at about the point where the U-turn was happening. Oh. I would say this song, and we'll talk. We'll play the video and then kind of reflect on it.
Okay, you got it. I like how you're producing the show. Fits and Starts. This is the great David McMillin playing a brand new Fort Francis song for you and me. Check it out.
Last night I dreamt of angels honking horns on Interstate 65. Then I turned on the TV and figured out if I was really even alive. The sirens scream, the ocean sings, the wind stalls, the dogs all bark. The earth is spinning in fits and starts. If you want to see the future, stand up on your tippy toes. Hang on as tight as you can and hum the words to God only knows. What if God is lying? What if God is hiding? What if God is just as lost as you and me out in the dark? Welcome to the sanctuary of fits and starts. All this time we've been hallucinating, and all this time we've been waiting to be someone. All this time the sky has been falling down. I don't believe in beginnings, and all the endings got too many question marks. I belong in the middle. I was meant to move in fits and starts. tomorrow's at the doorstep, and she's rising like a tidal wave. And this is your 12-minute warning. Pack up everything you've ever wanted to say. What if time is wrong? What if time is nothing more than a knife that cuts us apart? We will put it all back together in fits and starts.
That is Fits and Starts, a brand new song from David McMillin for his band, Fort Francis. And David, that's brilliant. I got chills the first time I saw it. I just love the intimacy of it. And I'm going to give you the greatest compliment I can give a person, because you and I both are Warren Zevon fans. I spent 2 years working on it. You were very complimentary and covered one of Warren's songs in one of your Instagram live things. But that song just took me right to that kind of songwriting, and just the piano playing and the phrasing and the lyrics, the references. Just a beautiful job, man. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, man. To have my name in the same sort of breath as Warren Zevon is the highest praise anyone could give. So I appreciate that, James. Of
course. Thoughts about the song from you?
Yeah, I'm really happy to share that. That's where I write. That's where that song was written. That's the piano in my apartment in Chicago. And I'm happy to get to. I like showing most of our songs work in two very different ways. The sort of I'd call that the heartstrings approach, the one like the very intimate one, which is often the way that I'm writing them. And then they will work in a totally different way. Hopefully, whenever the next Underwater Sunshine Fest is, it will be Aaron playing the drums, Jeff on the bass, Jason playing a super amazing slide guitar, and me getting to sing. And so they comes to life in a totally different way. But I like the chance to kind of strip them down. I feel like I've always been a narrative songwriter type guy. And I do think that whether it's just because I have more time on my hands now with the pandemic, everybody's at home, but I feel like the narrative is getting stronger in some of my songs. I think it's because I just have more time to work on them.
Yeah, well, I one shout out, the God Only Knows reference, the Brian Wilson and Beach Boys, obviously one of the great songs ever written. But I like how because he questions God Only Knows in a different way. You're saying, hey, what if God's not listening? What if he's just in the same situation we're in, or what you're doing? It's the kind of doubt that people have, but it was a great juxtaposition of a very positive song. And then, of course, the faith that we all have, not just in God, but in the future, what's going to happen to us. So great job on that. As a writer, I tuned into that.
Thanks, man. I can never pick a favorite, like what's my favorite song of all time, but that one is certainly in the top 3. I think that song is so brilliant. Yeah.
We could spend another hour on that, but talk about the video though. You didn't want to let us get through this without talking about it. It's a wonderful animated video for it. It really it captures the mood of it. How did that all come about?
Yeah. So I'm super proud of the animated video. I had kind of been walking around, like listening to the song, the mix, and I had this concept of the story, which the song, the first line about angels on Interstate 65 is an actual dream I had. I grew up in Indiana, and Interstate 65 runs, like I've driven that road countless times. So I had a dream about angels stuck in a traffic jam on Interstate 65. And it's a super visual, it's a compelling visual, and I thought, oh, an animation would be so cool to do, and I never would have done this if it weren't for the pandemic. I had a really good friend who introduced me to an animator who lives in Brazil. His name is Alexandre Barcelos, and I'm probably mispronouncing that because in the beautiful thing, the silver lining, I guess, of the pandemic is that, you know, he and I just traded notes about this back and forth. We've never talked, you know, we've never actually spoken on the phone. And yet he managed to, I think, capture the song in just the most beautiful. I couldn't have asked for a better way of bringing the song to life.
It really is beautiful. Yeah.
You know, and I think looking ahead, that's something I'm going to be kind of focused on. Not, they won't all be animated videos, but like, I think now in the scheme of how we all listen to music, and there's so much music coming out, that I want to dive a little deeper anytime I can to present songs, not just in a, you can listen to it, but you can see it and you can feel it, you can come to life. And it's all really because I just was so thrilled with his work on this video. So yeah, I hope everybody checks it out.
Yeah, it's great work. I want to thank you again for joining us and for all the great music. It's really good to see you. You look great. I was worried about you there for a while, as I worry about everybody out there. Please stay healthy and all that. Fits and Starts is a beautiful song. Thank you for giving us that. When I think of Fits and Starts, I think of what we've all been going through. So it really does speak to its time as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. I can't thank you enough for having me on here, and for all the work you guys do. Everybody on the Underwater Sunshine Fest team is just, you guys are, you know, when I think about community, we talked about when we started, like, you guys embody that. And I'm thrilled to be part of the family. So I can't wait to see you guys in person. You know, hugging is going to feel so good whenever that's a thing again. And yeah, I'm psyched whenever that gets to happen, man.
You got it. That is David McMillin. The band is Fort Francis. Check out all their stuff. They got a brand new album coming out soon. It might be called U-Turn. You never know.
Yeah.
My name is Jim Campion, or James Campion, or any JC, whatever you want to call me. This is the Sunshine Spotlight. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Thanks, man.
What if time is wrong? What if time is nothing more than a knife that cuts us apart? We can put it all back together in fits and starts.